everyone, welcome to part 3 of this video from the Johanna Basford Weekly Planner and Ivy in the Inky Butterfly. We're going to be doing this cute little one to start with here. That we've got house mouse and some pretty looking florals. We're using the Derwent Chromaflow as we have for the rest of the page. So let's get started. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to try and match up some of the colours or just use lots. I've got the colours I've used already separated so that I can grab them if I want to. But I think we can do these flowers here in a pinkish colour. I think that would look pretty. I really like this cerise pink, so I'm going to use that. I just got distracted by a flashing light on my microphone, but it's just because it's charging up. So I'm trying to make them a little paler on the edges, a bit darker around that centre. I haven't decided what I'm doing with that centre bit yet. So there we go. I hope everyone's doing okay today. It's going to be hot. Well, it's going to be hot today and even hotter over the weekend. So I got up and aired the house out. It was quite warm when I woke up, but it was quite a cool night actually. But I just got myself hot. I think we made a bit of a mistake yesterday. Although it wasn't so hot, we didn't open the house up until we felt too hot. And it was a bit late then. So this morning I thought I'm going to air the house out really early and get some cool air inside. So I've done that, and I've now closed all the windows and the curtains on the sunny side of the house, so that it keeps cool, and kept it open on the shady side because the air is still cooler. But I went outside just to put the bins away, and the sun was already really hot. I was going to go out. Oh, it's a very loud train horn. I was going to go out and do a bit of grocery shopping, but it's already so hot that I decided not to. What I'll do is I could potentially go this evening, but I'd have to leave it quite late because it's the hottest in the evening here. So I think I'll just go tomorrow morning early, and I'll be able to go out earlier tomorrow. This morning I had to make various phone calls. Our broadband is being switched over to a new provider, and the dates of our old one closing with our new one opening, if you know what I mean, ending and starting, didn't correspond. So my husband was having a panic that we'd be without. So I was trying to get that sorted out for him before we went to work, because the account's in his name, so I knew he'd want to talk to them. But I knew they'd want to talk to him, but he doesn't like doing the talking, so I have to do it. Oh, this is so complicated. And then he's going to set it up so it's in my name as well. But the whole point of this, I'm going to use the butterscotch to do the centres. It's a bit different. Why not? The whole point was I was just leaving the broadband in his name so that he could deal with it, because he understands it better than me. I mean, I know what it is, but he knows what speeds he wants. I just would go for the cheapest, but he was, no, that's not good, we can't have that, it's not fast enough and all that. So I let him do it, and I'm going to do the little tiny leaves next. And so the idea was that he would deal with it, but he's now put my name on the account, so that's a bit annoying, but never mind. I'm going to use the jungle green for the leaves. I want them to be darkish, and then I'm actually going to do a green background on this little square. I think it works well with the sort of florals. So here's a jungle green, and I'm going to make it a little bit lighter than these leaves. I'm just going to block these in because they're small. So anyway, so we're trying to sort that out, and then my son had a letter about his new meds and it wasn't clear, so I had to phone up and try and sort that out for him because he's at work, and his nurse knows me anyway because I go with him, so she's happy to talk. She knows he's happy for me to talk to her about it, so I managed to get hold of her and have a chat to her, so that was all good. Got that sorted, so that was all fine. No problems there. He's just trying to find something. What he's on isn't working particularly well, so just trying to find something that does. It's fine. But so I had to sort that all out, and by the time I'd done that, it was getting really warm. But tomorrow morning, spring bud, by the way, sorry, I probably flashed that up too quickly, you probably didn't see. I'm just sort of colouring it in. Just normal plain colouring. I don't know whether to do anything a bit more fancy or not. I will see what it looks like. Yes, so that was all sorted out before husband eventually left for work at 9:45. And by then it was far too hot to go out. But I shall go out tomorrow early. As I say, I shall get up as early as I can once my son's awake, and then have a early breakfast and go straight out before it gets too warm and get the groceries that I need. I mean, I'm nearly out of, sorry, I've got to wipe my nose. I'm nearly out of soy milk, which is the milk that I drink. But I've got some oat milk that I can use instead if I have to, if I run out. So it'll be okay. And I'll just make do with the veg that I've got. I've got enough, really. I don't know what we're cooking tonight. It's a bit early to be thinking about it, seeing as it's 10:15. But yes, I was going to get straight on with this once husband left, but then I remembered that I'd been in the middle of making a coffee at one point when the phone rang, so I thought I'd have that first, because I was thirsty and then got distracted. Whew. But anyway, it's all good. I'm just stopping for a second to do something on my tablet here. Just putting up my Discord in case my son messages me, because I sent him a message, but I'm not necessarily expecting a reply. It didn't need one. I was just updating him on what I'd sorted out with his nurse. He'll be happy. He's always happy for me to sort it out for him. I mean, who wouldn't be? One day they'll sort things out for me. No, I mean, people say I'm a control freak, and you know, I sort of take it, but really, if I didn't do it, no one else would. But then maybe you could argue that maybe if I didn't do it, people would have to. I don't know. Now, mousy. I like doing house mouse in you know, I've just realised that I always colour house mouse as if her apron is her only clothes. But looking at her, this looks like a dress. So I'm going to colour her with a little dress. Why not? I think she'll look cute in a little dress. Let's use some purpley colours. Let me have a look at what we've got. The Aztec purple is quite a lightish-ish, not light completely, but lightish purple. So I'm going to use that first. I'm going to sharpen it. And I'm going to use that for a dress. And what I'm thinking is I'm going to colour it as if the neck of the dress is lower than the apron, because so this is all going to be fur, so her dress is here. She might look a bit weird. I've never coloured her like this with a dress, but I just think this doesn't look like body. It looks like it's a little dress. But anyway, why not? Let's give her a little dress. And I think because I've done it this colour, it's quite obvious it's a dress, especially once we do her fur. I'm going to put a little bit of shadow just around the apron there. Yeah, I think that's okay. You might not agree. Do it how you wish. Now I'm going to use a darker purple. We have got a lilac. No, I'm going to use the violet. I've used it already, haven't I? Here we go. What did I use the violet for? Did I use it for the stones on Dragon Queen's crown? I'm going to do it on her apron. Now I want it to be dark enough so you can see it's a different colour to the dress, but not too dark, although it just seems to be going down quite dark. I think it's okay. I'm going to leave that a little bit of the pocket there in white. I'm just going to fill in all of this area. Then around the edge of the pocket I want to put a little bit more, so you can see that it's a sort of separate bit of the apron. And I want to stripe on my apron. You don't have to. Excuse me, where's my voice gone? But I'm going to grab the dark purple, which has been sharpened in my electric sharpener, interestingly, and I'm going to do a few little stripes. I don't know how well they show up, to be honest, but I want it to look a bit like it's got a patchwork, not patchwork, I guess you'd call it a plaid design. I don't know, like that. It's a bit invisible really, and then there'll be a bit on the pocket as well. There we go. Maybe it doesn't show up that well, but hey ho, I'm happy that I've had a go. Now she needs to have some fur. I quite like doing her in grey with a little bit of pink for her tail and ear. I don't think mice look like that really, but I just think it's cute, and I think why not? I mean, we've got a blue dragon. Not that we know what colour dragons are, as they don't exist. Right, I'm just sharpening this colour. This is the ash rose, and I'm going to use this for the tail. I'm going to put it down quite thickly because it's a palish colour, and inside the ear, like that, and the nose. You could do the nose in black if you prefer, but I think that's quite cute. And then I want a light brownish colour. Grey, sorry, not brown. I'm going to use a platinum to start with. It is quite very pale, but we'll just give it a start and see how it looks, because it may be okay. We may need to add a little bit of a darker colour. So I'm going down here to the feet and then the paws, because those are the bits I'm most likely to forget. There we go. It's so noisy today. It was noisy last night. I kept waking up in the night. I had the door open in the bedroom. It was noisy. But anyway, it was I had some sleep. But there we go. There she is. Now let's move down to our little padlock. Now we can do this in a silver or a gold, or neither. I think I will try it in a sort of pewtery type colour. It's quite fun. I'm going to start with the slate grey. Where is it? Here it is. We need it really sharp, which it is. So slate grey. And I'm going to mark in the areas I think will be the darkest. So you can follow me along with whatever colour you're doing it in, but just fill in these dark areas. So under here. How do I know where to do it? Guesswork and practice, I think, is the most honest answer. Sometimes I look at pictures of things and copy them, and I've done sort of followed metallic tutorials from Helen Elliston in her book, and I'm sure I've done more, but I can't think what. There we go. I think I'm going to put a bit here as well. So yes, it's sort of just having a go as well, practicing and seeing what works. And that's quite a daring thing to do, isn't it? We've got a nice book, nice colouring book. Do you want to go in there and just experiment? I'm going to use the Winter Lake. I've just got to find it because, oh, it is in my pencil case. We haven't used it yet. Winter Lake. Yeah, so it is sometimes you have to be a bit daring and just try something that you might not normally do, and it can be a bit scary. But if you want to do that and you don't want to ruin a page, I don't like using the word ruin, it's other people use that word, I don't think there's such thing. You can use a download. If you've got a printer, then you can print off a download and just play with that. And then if it doesn't work out right, you can just chuck it or file it away for reference purposes, you know, that sort of thing. There we go. So I'm leaving some white areas of paper, if I can, to look like it's a bit shiny. And here we're just going to put a little bit on. A little bit around here. Now, it could be better, but it's a small space. The bigger the space, the easier I find it is. But it's fine. I'm not worried about it. Black. I'm going to use the black for the inside of the keyhole because I think we're looking into the dark depths of the padlock. There we go. But what we can also use the black for is just to emphasize a few of these shadowy areas, and it will help it all take shape a little bit better. Sorry, not talking, barely breathing. There we go. Now, background, well, it could be anything, couldn't it? We've got these two little dots and they've got some there, so I like little berries. I want to colour those. I'm going to do those first so that I can sort of work out what I'm doing with it. I think I'm going to go for a dark purple. Hang on, midnight mauve. Is that the right name? Yes. It's just a sort of purpley colour. I don't need to sharpen it. It's teeny tiny. And these as well, just while we're at it. I don't think there are any more. Or car alarm. Lovely. It's so common at the moment for us to have car alarms going off all the time. It can go off all day long sometimes. It's getting a bit much, really. Orchid. Even when the windows are shut, you can hear them going on and on and on. But anyway. Right, for this background, I'm going to do it slightly differently. Rather than just doing it a complete, layer, I'm going to make it a bit darker in the corners and edges and fade it towards the centre. So I'm layering up here, and I'm going to do those layers all the way around like this. So this is sort of quite a thick application. Whoops. Like that. I'm just going to do the thick bit all the way around the edge. The thick bit. It's a dunce, it's a thick bit. Like this. I was watching a decluttering video yesterday and it was really interesting. And it was a decluttering person who's online. I don't really follow anyone like that, so I didn't know. And he basically said that he thinks there are 3 words which are the worst words that people use when they're trying to decide what to keep and get rid of. And those words are just in case. He said, if you're keeping something just in case, that might not be the best reason to keep it. And I think he's right. He said also you can follow a 20-20 rule. So he said if it costs less than $20, £20, whatever. And I mean, obviously this will depend on your budget, because that could be a lot of money for some people. Other people, it could be nearly nothing and they could perhaps up it. Some people might have to make it a bit lower. If it costs less than $20 and it takes less than 20 minutes to replace it, to go somewhere, you know, to get it, then get rid of it, you know. And I thought that was a really interesting way to look at things. And I'd love to show it to my husband, who holds on to things. But the reason he holds on to things is because It's not just in case. It's because it cost him a lot of money and so he doesn't want to get rid of them. So I'm just going to try here, tidying this up a bit, just going over those corners and edges a little bit more, and then just making sure it sort of fades out fairly evenly. It isn't the most brilliant, but it's, yeah, I'm happy. Now, how are we doing for time? Okay. We have got the magic, a jar of magic. What colour is a jar of magic? Well, I think I usually do it sort of pinky purple, but I'm thinking we should do it differently this time because we've got pinky purple here. So let's have a look. I don't think it's yellow, orange or red. I think it's more likely to be blue. And I think the blue, if we do the stars yellow, it could work quite nicely. But I'm going to use different shades of blue. So I'm going to start with the blue orchid because it's really pretty. Why not? So here it is. I need to sharpen it. And I'm going to do a few bits of blue orchids. It's not all going to be this colour. So in this corner, quite hard there, to sort of fade out. I'm going to try and avoid that, whatever that is. Then I'm going to put a bit here. Actually, I think I will go over these bits. We can put them in with a pen. A bit here and a little bit here. Now normally I would combine a few different colours and make it look a bit galaxy-like, galaxy sky effect type, but we're not going to do that this time. We're going to use just different shades of blue. I'm going to now grab, actually that I used last, I want a slightly darker blue. Well, let's use the lapis blue. It's really pretty as well. Why not just use all the pretty ones? Lapis blue. Give it a sharpen. Then I'm going to put a little bit here, sort of fade it like that. Maybe a bit on the edge of this star and sort of fade it into this bit. There we go. And then a bit here. Then I'm going to grab a light green, glacier blue. I need to sharpen this as well. And then I'm just going to go all over everything with this, not the stars, not the big stars, so that it sort of blends it all together and we get a sort of light areas and dark areas, and it just looks like a swishy swashy smush of blue colours, light and dark. There we go. Just going to go over it all again. Just make sure it's nicely mixed and smushed. These are quite smushy, these pencils, so it's quite good. There we go. Then the stars I'm going to do in a bright yellow. I want to use a sunflower. I may have already used it. Yeah. Today or yesterday? Yesterday. There we go. Sunflower. But I'm going to sharpen it. It's quite an orangey yellow, but I think it stands out really nicely from the blue. Now for the dots and stars and things, I'm going to do those in pen. Now if you've got a pen this colour, I think it would work really well. Now I don't, so I'm going to use a, sorry, I'm looking for something while I'm talking. I'm going to use a white, but I'm going to do the jar first. So I'm using my Winter Lake. I want to give an, oh, it's a fly. Don't know if you heard it, an impression of glass. Now we don't want it as dark as this metal, so I'm going to press quite lightly. Like that. And do the same here. The lid is going to be a different colour, I think. But these are sort of see-through glass, I think. Like that. Now the lid, quite like the idea of doing it in the yellow colour to match the yellow. Maybe we use a slightly less bright colour. I might just use the lemon. Now I realise the lid's got a little pattern on it, so you could use several colours, but for me that's a little bit too detailed, so I'm just going to put this lemon over the whole thing, like that. Now before I do any white, I'm going to do this background. What colour are we going to use for a background? Tricky, isn't it? So I've got this purpley pink, I want something different. Now, I don't really want orange or red. Can't use blue. We've used green here. But I could use, I guess I could use that melon. Would that work? Oh, it's tricky, isn't it? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the Dijon. So it's a yellowy brown colour, like a Naples almost. More like an ochre, I guess. And just like yesterday's, I'm going to put more down in the corners and then just sort of fade it off towards the centre of the square. If it's a bit too brown for you, you could add a bit of yellow on top and that would make it look a little bit lighter. But I'm okay with this colour. I need to put a bit more down in the corner, but I think it's going to work okay. Now I have to guess here. I think I'll just put a line there. Now if you don't want to be bothered with doing different colour backgrounds for each of these little ones and you think it might look a little bit odd, you could use the grey colour that we used for the stones and just use it on all of them. I think it would look fine. It might not look as pretty, but it might match better, you know, so it's sort of up to you really what you think is going to work best. There we go. Now I'm going to grab a white pen from my box of tricks. I've got I think the Jelly Roll 8 is probably the right size nib. Oh, doesn't want to come out of the box, so there it is. So a Jelly Roll 8, and I'm just going to go over the top of all the dots. Now I could also, there's other things I could do if I wanted. I could outline the stars, which I think I'm going to do. Like that. It sort of rubs out the black line around them. Have a look and decide which you prefer. This one stands out more, but that one looks more magical in my opinion, so it's up to you. You also might just think it's a bit too fiddly. That's fair enough, it is. And then I want to make this look more glassy. I can put a sort of mark here to look like shine, and I purposely put it there where I've got a bit of a darker blue so it shows up better. I'm not going to show it that well on that side. Okay, right, that's that. Next we have this anchor. Move across a little bit. This is quite easy for me. We want a very light silver colour. What's it called? Hang on, put the book on top of my swatch chart. I want the Oxford Grey. There it is. So it's going to be a bit lighter than the padlock. Now I'm going to put a really light layer of Oxford Grey over the whole thing. And then give it a sharpen and make some areas darker. For example, where things are overlapping, so here and each edge of that, there and each edge of that, the centre of there, the base of there, the edge is quite hard when it's narrow. I reckon hear an alarm going off. It's not a car alarm. It's going beep, 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 beep. Now, I'm going to keep it that simple, but the background, I'm thinking like a sea blue. Maybe a green meadow though, or a turquoise green. I think the turquoise green is going to work best. Here it is. We used it for our dragon, but we use it here. So just like the other ones, we're going to do more layers in the corner and along the edges, and then less as we go towards the middle. I'm thinking in my head as I colour. I wonder what next week's is. Oh. I'm reading about mindfulness. I started a mindfulness course, but it was quite hard to keep up with it because I was watching Wimbledon and I just kept forgetting to do it. So what I'm going to do, and the meditation CDs, my husband put onto the network for me so I could listen to them, and he's taken them off again. He's wiped the server, so they're not on there anymore. So I can't access the meditations. So I've decided that what I'm going to do is to ask him to put them back on over the weekend. Wimbledon finishes this weekend. And set myself a timer to do them. It's really hard on a morning when people are at work to find the right time to do it, because ideally I'd like to do it really early, but I have to get up and make sure everyone's up and ready for work. I make the lunch boxes, get the breakfast ready, get the table nice and clean, kitchen nice and clean and tidy for everyone. Right, the feather and the butterfly are our last. I want to do the feather in a pinky colour. I think I'm going to use the orchid to start with. Let's find it. We used it. Maybe we've used it. We used it today. Yes. Okay, we won't use the orchid. Is it that? Maybe it is that. No, we'll use something else then. We will use the dewberry. It's a little bit purpley, but it'll work. So dewberry for our feather. So I'm just going to sharpen it. So yeah, so I like to get the kitchen all clean and tidy, empty the dishwasher, do all those jobs because everyone's, going off for work. So I wouldn't expect them to do it. And then I get my son out the door. He leaves at about 8:15, so it's not too late. But then my husband is hanging around until he has a 9 o'clock meeting that he takes at home before he leaves. And then by the time he's left, I'm either wanting to go straight out while it's still cool enough to go out, or I'm wanting to get straight on with some work. So where do I fit in? I mean, it's 8 minutes. I guess once I've got my kitchen chores done, if no one's up, I could do it then. You could say get up earlier and do it before you get up. It's an interesting idea, but I'm just looking for the right grey, Oxford grey, for the central bit here. I'm just going to block it in. I'm also going to use it for our butterfly's body. Again, just block it in, it's too small. Now, what colour are we going to do our butterfly? Orange. So yes, I get up at, my alarm goes at 6, I get up at 6:15. I don't really want to get up any earlier than that. It's quite early enough. And my alarm wakes my son up, so I usually wake up before it goes off. This is Clementine, do our butterfly. I'm going to put more on near his body and less as we go out. Oh, it's a pretty colour, isn't it? So yes, it's oh, I can hear a baby cry. and then shouting. Must be a toddler. I'm going to use black for the edges of these wings. Actually, and for that dot. I like a butterfly with a bit of black. Sorry, I didn't. So yes, just trying to fit it in, because you're supposed to do it morning and night, 8 minutes. But I'm going to have a scan through the book again, because it's an 8-week course. There are different things you have to do each week, different meditations that you do, and also different habit breakers and practices. And it seems really good. I really like the sound of it. Background colour. What haven't we used? We've used sort of bluey green, we've used yellow, we've used pink. We haven't used purple. They're all a bit dark. We could use I don't want to use orange. I've got orange, but we could use orange. So orange goes with pink. Red. No. I know. I'm going to use the Turkish Delight. It's a sort of pinky, orangey, browny, can't describe it colour. I think it's supposed to be a light skin tone, but I don't tend to use it for that. Anyway, we use this. Yes, so I'm going to go through the book and write down week by week what you have to do each day. So the mindful habits are things like, when you're brushing your teeth, you should notice what you're doing. Yeah, it's not long, is it? You're doing it anyway. Rather than trying to let your thoughts just wander, you notice it. And that's so hard, because brushing teeth is my thinking time. I've always had the thoughts that having time without videos on and without anyone around and just having your own thoughts, I've always thought that's a really useful healing time to just get a grip of what your mind's doing. But it doesn't seem like mindfulness agrees with that. It seems like they think you need to train your brain so that you don't get distracted by your running away thoughts, because they can actually be quite harmful. And obviously it depends what you're thinking about, but often when our brain's running away with itself, it's worrying. That isn't good, is it? We don't need to just be worrying and mulling things over and that sort of thing. So the idea is that you learn to notice your thoughts, and when you start worrying, you say to yourself, worrying, and then you refocus to something else. And the idea is that if you can practice brushing your teeth and focusing on the feel of the toothbrush on your gums, the taste of the toothpaste, all those sorts of things, then it helps you more easily be aware of your thoughts and be able to bring yourself out of those negative thoughts. I'm going to use my white. I want to dot on the butterfly. That one needs to be a bit bigger. There we go. Now, I think we're done. That was quicker than I thought. I thought I'd have to make this bit into 2. So I'm going to have a go at this course. I'm going to reread the book because I read it too quickly. And I'm going to make notes on what I have to do each week and focus on. And I'm looking forward to having a go. But it's 8 weeks. And so I'm going to start once tennis is finished. Right, there we are. There it is, the planner page. Now we have the middle. What are we going to do? I quite like it empty. Perhaps it's because I'm scared of drawing. If you can draw something. Draw ivy in there. Draw some treasure or some other things from the story. I don't really understand this anchor. I don't know how that's relevant to the whole story, really. But anyway, you could draw whatever you like. You could trace something. I do have a video on how to trace if you need that. So I don't know where. It's a really old one, but it gives you all the instructions that you need. So there are things like that you could put in there if you want. You could write something. I just don't want to. But there is the basics done anyway for you. So I hope you have a good week. And day, and hopefully you'll pop back and watch a few more videos before next week's planner, which I am going to have a little peep at in a minute. But thank you so much for following along and watching. I do hope that you have a super week. and happy colouring.